Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. In today's video, we're going to go over how I would dress and kit up for the upcoming chilly Hilly ride and just the cold weather that we've been having in general, as well as some awesome announcements at the end. So stay tuned. First off, unfortunately, I got to start with some bad news, which is I'm not going to be able to personally join in the chilly Hilly ride tomorrow. Some things came up and I won't be able to ride it. But nonetheless, I wanted to send you off on a great ride. So today we're going to go exactly over how to prepare for this coming one, especially since it's coming with a lot colder weather, with snow most likely coming in Saturday night and the ride being probably around the 3-degree mark. I have been riding the past couple of weeks in these frigid temperatures, and this is how I would prepare. So let's go have a little bit of a deep dive and talk about what I would consider some tips and things along the way. So let's go. So first is definitely just your main body and what you're wearing. And the key is just to layer up. So here I have the outer shell, this Gore-Tex Phantom jacket, and then inside I have a thermal jersey. So this one is fleeced. It also happens to be Gore-Tex brand, but obviously it doesn't need to be. And then inside I have a long sleeve base layer. This is a Heat Tech from Uniqlo. I find this to be a very cheap, affordable option. But just starting from the inside out, this main one definitely is just about just having that will keep you warm, something that is somewhat breathable. There's these other ones that are just like a lot thinner too that you could use, but depending on the temperature. For this ride, especially since it includes a ferry ride, which at the very end of it, when you're getting off the boat, it can get really, really cold. And if you're riding with friends, you have to consider that you'll probably be stopping at the rest points. Definitely, I would favor the side of warm. Obviously, you have the choice to see what fits for you, but this is something you'll gather with experience as well. And then next is the inner jersey. This is something that you're going to be just wearing the whole time, and it's something that I really like the thermal types of jersey. They are fairly water resistant, but hopefully what the outer shell should do is just make sure that water doesn't get soaked all the way through. It gets a lot harder to stay warm once that happens. So definitely for the outer shell, things you want to prioritize is that it's water resistant, and that for me personally also is that it's fairly visible. So I really like this design in particular. There are some other ones that are just pure black, which I don't like as much, but these ones where there's a good amount of color up here, but still fairly water resistant is a good sort of candidate for an outer shell. And with all these together, along with the inner bib tight sort of straps, this is usually enough to keep you warm all the way down to probably 1 degree, 0 degrees, where at that point I'm pretty much worried about ice instead of just the road itself. Next, let's probably cover the gloves and maybe some of the extremities. So here I have these shower pass wool gloves. So they're a bit warmer than just full-fingered road cycling gloves, and that's what I would recommend mainly once we get below the sort of 5-degree, 8-degree mark for sure. At that point, you want something that's just a little bit warmer, almost to the point of just like a winter glove, but maybe it's not that warm because you'll still be riding and getting through. But the key here is also, especially once you're done at the end, a really good tip is to maybe have a spare set of gloves or socks. So chances are you're going to run into a shower and it's not going to be steadily raining as usually happens in Seattle. So as you're riding through, you should be okay with your heart pumping and everything. But once you're just sitting down and trying to enjoy your chili, that's when it can get really chilly. So having a spare set of socks or gloves really goes a long way. But this is probably what I would start with. And then next here, you'll see up in terms of everything on the head and face, I have this buff here. I really like this buff for several reasons, along with some type of wind protection. I personally use these all the time because they are prescription, so I need them to see. But just having this mix really, really helps on the descents. At least for me personally, that's the time where I feel it's the most uncomfortable to ride in the cold, is when it's just all blasting through. So just having this to cover your nose, mouth, and ears is really helpful. And I found this solution the best. A gaiter I've sort of gotten away with using face masks and stuff, but those don't really work well in the rain when they get wet and things like that. So this is what I would personally roll with. And then also, if it does happen to rain a lot, then also having a cap will help a lot too, just to keep your head warm, and then also to prevent water from going into your eyes. So definitely a lot of things to consider there, but all really helpful. So next is going into sort of what you wear and, for pants and such. Here I've started to go with these bib tights. These are the Lacole Pro tights. I really enjoyed them. They sit super comfortably, come with a chamois, and you're sort of good to go. They're not complete. These ones aren't completely waterproof or water resistant, but there's other ones that are. But this has found for me to work up to basically any rideable temperature, just because usually your legs, you do need to keep them warm, but it's not as crucial to keep them super warm and dry as it is your core, in order to keep you properly warm. And then, but if you don't have these, I've definitely just rolled with just like chamois shorts and then another layer on top, either tights or just some type of fleece pants, which would definitely suffice. And then lastly, talking about sort of socks, feet, overshoes and such. These are just my road shoes here. And my main thought on this, looking at the forecast coming up, it is going to be snowing on Saturday night, and it looks like for Sunday morning, there may be some showers or two or so, but it's not consistent. I would say that what helps a ton and what I would have brought is my fully fendered winter bike. So if you have fenders, that does a whole lot to make sure that your feet and socks remain relatively dry. Because I think the cold really seeps in once you get to those either extremely frigid temperatures, like below, like right around 0 degrees Celsius, or when they're just wet. So if you have fendered bikes and you're riding around fendered people, it's definitely a lot easier. Otherwise, yeah, you could try overshoes or things like that, but definitely those can get soaked through too if you don't have fenders. So my tip there is, I know it's really last minute, but if you can, I would suggest bringing a fendered bike. And then with that, I think that covers a lot of the kit. So I hope those tips and tricks will definitely help you out on your ride, and that you'll be able to stay relatively warm and enjoy the ride. Also, definitely, if this is your first time riding in such conditions, just make sure to give yourself extra amounts of space and go extra slow. The main concern, I think, is with all the elevation changes, there's just going to be some issue with traction, so you're definitely just going to give yourself that ample time. And as well as that, there's just going to be a lot of people still, so that is also a place where you need to take some caution. But otherwise, let me know how your ride goes. I'm really bummed out that I won't be able to ride it this year, but the good news is, with all the announcements I have in the second portion, is that there's going to be a lot more group rides this year with me, and starting with which I'm going to be partnering with East Rail Partners to host a ride mid-March, exploring what's new on the East Rail. So there are some new developments this year, such as the Totem Lake Connector, 520 Trail Connector, and also just the downtown portion developing. All that sounds really cool, right? So more details to come in for sure, but the date and time's already set. It's going to be basically the morning of March 18th. So you can definitely just book that out, have a chance to just come socialize and ride with me. But as well as I'm just going to be hosting a lot of group rides in general, as I'm going through the Cascade free group ride leadership process right now. So I'm doing some mentored rides coming up, and that basically means that you can also join me and find some of those. So I'll be posting those all throughout on the YouTube channel and such. You can also subscribe to this channel if you want to learn more about all the rides that are coming here up in Seattle for Cascade and whatnot. I'm super happy to just promote cycling around here. But yeah, I know that was a ton of a mouthful, a lot of things. Let me know in the comments below, were any of those tips helpful, what you would recommend to others in terms of their own cycling kit to stay warm, and if you're riding the chilly Hilly, or if you want to join me on some of those group rides. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos really soon. So I'll see you all in the next one.